In this lecture, we'll try to understand connective tissue. Connective tissue is found in between the other tissues everywhere in our body. It connects the tissues and organs together. It connects one tissue or an organ with another tissue or organ. Hence, the name has got connective tissue. And it is the most widely distributed tissue in our body. And it has a variety of functions to perform, depending upon its type of cells, its fibers, and ground substance with which it is made. And it supports and strengthens the other tissues. It acts as a transport medium. It covers the internal organs, and it functions as energy reserve, and also it provides immunity. Let's see how it does all these functions. So here are the list of different types of connective tissue. Here you can see loose connective tissue, as under the skin can be seen, and this is adipose tissue, which is the fat tissue, forms the fat, and the blood, a fluid connective tissue which transports substances, and fibrous connective tissue, which is example is ligament, which connects a bone with another, cartilage, which is another type of connective tissue at the ends of the bones, and the bone itself is a hard connective tissue which provides a structural framework to the body. We'll see each of it. Let's see the components of the connective tissue, the components with which connective tissues are formed. There are three main components in the connective tissue. The one is connective tissue cells, the other is connective tissue fibers, and the ground substance with which it is made. Let's see the connective tissue cells. Connective tissue cells include fibroblast, macrophages, plasma cells, mast cells, adipocytes, WBCs, etc. And let's see fibroblasts. They are large flat structures with branching processes. You can see that here. Fibroblast, large flat structures with branching processes, and they secrete fibers and ground substance of the connective tissue. They form the connective tissue fibers, and they produce ground substance within the connective tissue. The next is macrophages. They are small irregular shaped structures. The small irregular shaped structures called macrophages, and they destroy bacteria and cell debris through process of phagocytosis. And next is plasma cells. They are developed from B lymphocytes, and they produce antibodies against antigens, and they provide immunity to our body. Okay. Next is adipocytes. They are cells or adipose cells, fat cells that store fat, and they are seen covering the internal organs of our body. Adipocytes, adipose cells, fat cells, and WBCs. They are present in small numbers in all healthy connective tissues, and they destroy microorganisms, and during infection or an injury, these WBCs will migrate to the site of injury and provides immunity. And mast cells, they produce histamines, anti-alert. They cause allergic response, and it is released in response to allergic reactions, histamine. And then the extracellular matrix, consisting of fibers and ground substance. So we have already discussed about the connective tissue cells, and now is the connective tissue matrix consisting of connective tissue fibers and ground substance. And it is a part of the connective tissue in which connective tissue cells are embedded. Connective tissue cells are present in the extracellular matrix, and the extracellular matrix is formed of fibers and ground substance. You can see that here. There are the fibrous structures. They are fibers, and which include collagen fibers, elastic fibers, and reticular fibers. And in between that, there is ground substance. The fibers are present in the matrix between the connective tissue cells. They are present between the connective tissue cells, and they are secreted by fibroblasts, as we discussed already, and they support and strengthen the connective tissue. And the fibers include collagen fibers, elastic fibers, and reticular fibers. And the next is ground substance. The ground substance is present in the extracellular matrix between the connective tissue cells and fibers. Between the connective tissue cells and fibers, there are ground substance with which the connective tissue is made of. It is made of water, polysaccharide, fat, proteins, etc. The ground substance may be in liquid nature, or a semi-solid, or a calcified nature. The blood, the ground substance in fluid connective tissue blood, is of liquid nature. And example, calcified, the ground substance of bone cartilage is the ground substance is calcified solid, and it support and strengthen the connective tissue and bind the cells together. This ground substance support and strengthen the connective tissue and binds the cells together, join the cells together. It is a medium for exchange of substances within the connective tissue, and this is a medium for multiplication and growth of and migration of connective tissue cells. Connective tissue cells multiply, grow, and migrate within the ground substance. Next, let's see the different types, the classification of the connective tissue. You can classify them into three: connective tissue proper, supporting connective tissue, and fluid connective tissue. There are further classifications to it. The first one, we'll discuss connective tissue proper. The different connective tissue fibers according to the proteins with which they are made are collagen fibers, elastic fibers, and reticular fibers, as we already discussed. Let's see collagen fibers. They are strong and flexible fibers arranged in bundles, and they are made of protein called collagen. They are found in the skin, tendons, and as well as in ligaments. Elastic fibers, they are flexible and branched fibers, and they are made of protein elastin, and they are found in the walls of arteries where elasticity is required. Reticular fibers, they are thin branched fibers which cannot be stretched. They are made of reticulin. They are found in liver, spleen, etc. They form a network, they form a mesh, and which act as a filter. Example, in lymph nodes they are present. They are present in liver, spleen, etc. Okay, reticular fibers. Then the different types of connective tissue proper. On the basis of the properties of the connective tissue cells, its fibers and ground substance, connective tissue proper is divided into loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. The connective tissue proper can be divided into two: loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue, there are three types of loose connective tissue: areolar tissue, adipose tissue, and reticular tissue. You can see that loose connective tissue, image of the loose connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue contains collagen fibers, elastic fibers, and reticular fibers. It is found in the respiratory tract, areolar connective tissue, and they are also found in the gastrointestinal tract, and they are also found in the urinary tract. And adipose tissue, they deposit fat and are found in the deeper layers of the skin, breast, buttocks, etc. They prevent loss of heat from the body, and they act as shock absorber as the internal organs are covered by fat. So areolar tissue, adipose tissue, and now next is reticular tissue. They form the basic framework for many of the organs. They provide supporting framework to the organs, and they are found in the spleen, liver, lymph nodes, etc. The next type in the connective tissue proper is dense connective tissue. The major portion of the dense connective tissue is made of densely packed collagen fibers. Example, ligaments, tendons, fasciae, etc. Let's see what are ligaments. They are found in the they are formed of collagen fibers and are tightly packed, and their fibers run parallel. They run parallel and they form a cord-like structure. And you can see that here, the tendons are the structure which will connect a muscle to a bone. These structures which connects a muscle to a bone is tendon. The tendons connect muscle with bones, and they are strong and inflexible structures. Okay, then ligaments, they're also a type of dense connective tissue. They're formed of elastin fibers that are tightly packed, and the fibers also run parallel to form a cord-like structure, and they join bone with another bone. It connects one bone with another bone here, ligament, which binds bone to bone. Ligaments, they stabilize the joints, provide stability to the joint, and they tolerate a moderate amount of stretching because of its elastic fibers. Then fasciae, they are sheets of connective tissue formed of collagen fibers, and they are arranged in two layers such as deep fascia and superficial fascia. They surround the skeletal muscles, and they attach the muscles to bones. And now supporting connective tissue, the second type of connective tissue. We already discussed about the connective tissue proper, in that there are two types, loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. And now supporting tissue proper, these are the tissues that provide a strong structural framework to a body. They support and provide shape to a body, and they protect the delicate internal organs of a body. Example, bone and cartilage, they are strong and they are supporting tissue proper. And bone, they are hard and strong structure. There are bone cells here, osteocytes. The osteocytes, they are embedded within the matrix, and the matrix consists of collagen fibers combined with calcium and phosphates. They got calcified there. Okay. Then it makes the bone strong and rigid. And there are two types, such as compact bone and cancellous bone. So bone, there's a strong and hard structure made of bone cells, osteocytes, embedded within the matrix, and the matrix consists of formed of collagen fibers and calcium and phosphate deposits. The next is cartilage. It's flexible and slightly flexible and soft, and its matrix is made of chondrocytes, cartilage cells. Chondrin, cartilage glue is also found, and this is embedded in a matrix consisting of collagen fibers, and elastic fibers are also there. It consists of cells called chondrocytes or the cartilage cells, and chondrin, the cartilage glue there, and it also consists of collagen fibers and elastic fibers there. The surface of the cartilage is formed of a tough connective tissue fiber called perichondrium. The outer covering of the cartilage is perichondrium, and it provides a flexible but stiff support to the body structures. And it provides or it reduces the friction between the bony structures. The type of cartilage include hyaline cartilage, elastic cartilage, and fibrous cartilage. Hyaline cartilage forms the articulating surfaces of the bones, costal cartilages, etc. Costal cartilages are the cartilage that connect rib to the sternum. Hyaline articular surfaces of the bones are also been covered by hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage, fibrocartilage, and elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage forms the pinna of the ear. The outer part of the epiglottis is also formed of elastic cartilage. And fibrocartilage, it forms the symphysis pubis, where the pubic bones are attached. An intervertebral disc are also formed of fibrocartilage. Then the next is fluid connective tissue. The third category is fluid connective tissue. The fluid connective tissue includes blood and lymph. Blood has a matrix consisting of fluid, plasma, and blood cells. Lymph is also a fluid connective tissue, and they nourish, they transport substances from one region to another, and it also helps in removing the waste materials from the tissues. So that was all about the connective tissue, different types of connective tissue. Okay, and we also discussed about the components of the connective tissue, and in that we discussed about the connective tissue cells and connective tissue matrix. And the different types of connective tissue, we discussed mainly about the three types of connective tissue proper, supporting connective tissue, and fluid connective tissue. In the connective tissue proper, we discussed about the loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. And in dense connective tissue, we discussed about the tendons, ligaments, and fascia. We also discussed about the supporting connective tissue proper, which includes bone, cartilage, and then the next we discussed was fluid connective tissue, blood and lymph is also discussed. Okay, thanks for watching.